Hi guys, so this is the first video of our Fundamentals of Technique series. We're looking at stance today, so how you're standing, how your muscles should be working anytime you're stood. This applies for everything, whether you're stood in parallel or fifth position, fourth, on one leg. It works for everything. If you get this right, if you're stood in the right way, everything else works so much easier. Your muscles can do their job properly, which means you're going to find all movement just so much easier. First thing to think about is all of the muscles that you're holding, you're not holding at 100%, you're not squeezing as much as you possibly can. If you do that, what you end up with is really stiff, rigid movement. So go ahead, take your abdominals now, pull in as hard as you can, really pull in until you feel like you're about to pass out, but then relax everything to about halfway, and then relax everything just that little bit more again. So your muscle, your abdominal core is sort of working at about 25% of its maximum, and that is about how much you should be holding all of these postural muscles all the way through. So you can still move easily, you can still breathe easily, which is important obviously, and then you're stood correctly. So let's go through the body now. We'll work from the ground up to the top and have a look at how all the different pieces should be fitting together for you to be able to move easily. This is a habit forming exercise. You can't just do this the once and expect everything to be magically fixed. You've got to try and make yourself constantly conscious of how you're standing, not just when you're dancing, but when you're walking around, when you're sitting down, just in your everyday life. Try and pay attention to your posture and make it a new habit that you just stand like a dancer. So I've got 5 key exercises that are going to help you find all of the right muscles to help you stand the right way. But first of all, let's have a quick look at which muscles should be working. I'm going to start from your centre and work out as the centre sort of the core of everything. If you can get the hips aligned the right way, if you find you have problems with your feet tending to roll in, hopefully that will fix itself. If you find that your shoulders tend to slump forwards, the back of your neck pinches, those two things are connected, again, hopefully that will fix itself. Okay, so pelvis first of all. What you really want to find is that your tailbone doesn't arch back, it is straight down in neutral. Now it needs to be actively in neutral. You can't just let it sit there, you've got to use the lowest abdominals possible just to lift up the front of the pelvis. And the glutes are going to engage slightly as well. Glutes is just a nice way of saying your butt cheeks. Clench your butt cheeks, guys, and that holds your pelvis in the right place. You'll probably find if you tend to roll in with your feet, the second you brought that pelvis under, that tailbone down, and those glutes engaged, you probably felt yourself roll out into the proper alignment of those feet anyway. But let's just have a quick look at those feet. You should have 2/3 of your weight forwards, equally distributed between the big toe and the little toe. So they're not rolling in, they're not rolling out either, they're right in the middle. But if your pelvis is correct and your glutes are engaged, that's probably fixed itself anyway. 1/3 of your weight is in the heels, so don't feel like you have to be right forwards in the toes. You are back in the heels a little bit, just mostly in the toes. To help you find the weight in the right place, those hamstrings are going to engage, and the hamstrings make you feel like you're shooting the legs down through the floor. So active heels working, and also at the front of the legs, you're feeling those thighs pulled right up as high as your armpits. So really strong working long legs. Okay. You've got the abdominals working already, the lower abdominals we've talked about. You've also got upper abdominals. There's a tendency, especially if you're a little bit more flexible around your back and your shoulders, that this chest, these rib cage, the ribs that don't join in the middle, they're going to open and flare outwards. It's a really common thing with younger dancers. We say pull up, and they all do this, and straight away that rib cage is poking out. Use the upper abdominals just to pull that rib cage in. As you do that, you might find you get a slight stretch in your back just here. You want to feel that back lengthening out. Open up the shoulders, but also try and open and flatten the shoulder blades. Don't feel like you're pulling the shoulder blades down, because that's just a little bit too much movement. It's going to make your arms feel stiff and heavy to move. So just lightly pressed flat and wide apart in the shoulder blades. If you find these triangle muscles on your neck, those ballet neck muscles, where they join in the middle, there's a little hole. Don't poke it too hard, but there's a little hole just there. We call that your donut. Think about opening up your donut in every direction possible. So your chin is lifting away from your chest, your collarbones are opening out as well. If you take your arms out to second position, keep your pelvis held in that right place, keep the legs set where we found them earlier, make sure your weight is still forwards in the toes. If you take those arms out to the side and breathe in, be careful that as you breathe in, this doesn't open outwards, so it's more of a breath sideways rather than a breath down here, okay? As you breathe in, feel the underneath of your elbows stretch out in a way and a little bit of lift just underneath that arm, and it's going to make you feel like you're floating upwards a little bit, like those arms are sort of supporting you and pulling you up. That helps your balance later on. Last thing to look at is the neck. The head is quite a heavy part of the body. You'll find really typical posture these days is that the head drops forwards a little bit, makes it feel a little bit pinchy here. If you just try a quick circle of your head, if you get a little bit stuck and kind of in this shape when you circle to the back instead of more here, then that means your head is generally dropping forwards a little bit too far. Take your jawbone and imagine sliding your jawbone back and up behind your ears so that your neck stacks in one nice long line. Okay? Quick recap of all of that because that's a lot of information. Weight forwards in the toes, hamstrings active, heels shooting down, knees pulling up to the armpits, lower abdominals lifting the front of the pelvis, glutes holding the tailbone in place, upper abdominals working to bring the ribcage in, back muscles working to spread the back wide and to lift you up out of your waist. Finally, the neck open at the donut, feel length behind your ears, and the head just kind of should just float on top of all of that. Okay? Take a moment now before we go into our first exercise and just make sure you can feel all that working. Go ahead, close your eyes and count to 30. Work through that list again from top to bottom. Work through that list again from the center, working outwards. Try and feel every single muscle that you know you should be working. Okay, so this is our first exercise to help you find the right muscles. This one is all about bring your weight forwards into the toes and also finding those active hamstrings that are going to help you feel like you're pressing your heels into the floor, which helps with that one type movements. It's going to make your legs feel nice and long as well. So we call this exercise active heels. We're going to start in parallel. All you need is a ballet bar. You want it to be something quite sturdy. So a rickety dining chair maybe won't work for this, but a table or something solid you can hold on to definitely will. We're going to start off just in parallel. Not a straight parallel, just an easy gap between the legs. Don't feel like you have to jam those legs together. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little rise. I'm placing my arm here so you guys can see better, but you can stick the arm anywhere you like. We rise into the toes. We lean forwards until you feel like if you let go of the bar, you fall forwards. Okay? So rise up tall, lean forwards as far forwards as you can. Abdominals active from here. Stay leaning forwards. Reach your heels to the floor. Really feel like you're trying, working hard to get those heels to make contact. Feel how much the backs of your legs have to work to do that. From here, bring your weight back to neutral, but don't release any of those muscles you've just found. Repeat that a couple of times. So rise, lean forwards a touch, reach the heels to the floor, and then bring yourself back to neutral. Feel all of those legs really active. Let's do it 4 times over. So we go rise, lean, reach, set the weight back to neutral. One more, rise, lean, reach, back to neutral. Take a moment, let go of the bar, bring the arms to first. Take the arms to fifth. If you've got the space, open both arms out to second, or you can take the bar again. You can try that on one leg. You can go back and do the whole thing, repeating on one leg, see what that feels like, and then also turn around and try it on the other side. Take a little moment to do that now. Pause the video, give it a quick go, find that feeling. Maybe it helps to close your eyes as well as you do this one. Close your eyes, feel how far forwards your weight goes, and pay attention to which muscles are working. So we've now put our weight in the right place and activated those hamstrings. We're going to work higher up now. We're looking at the pelvis alignment. We're going to use the lower abdominals, to lift the front of the pelvis up. We're going to use the glutes to hold those in place. When you get your pelvis in the right place, your feet are going to get better. They're going to stop wanting to roll in. They're going to stay in the right position. Your turnout is going to improve, and you'll probably find your legs will start to go a little bit higher as well. Your balance will improve. Everything, when the pelvis is in the right place, everything feels easier. Okay? You guys are going to do this exercise on both sides. To save me turning my back to the camera, I'm just doing the one side. Again, you'll need a ballet bar, a mirror is helpful, and that's all you need. Okay? We're going to start our feet in that same easy parallel. Just check your weight placement again, check your forwards and the hamstrings are active. You may even want to quickly repeat that last exercise, just make sure you're held. We bend on one, plie. On count 2, we're finding the lowest strip of abdominals you can find to lift up the front of the pelvis and hold it there. As you stretch those legs, gently squeeze the the glutes. Find those glutes, keep the abdominals working as well. And then there's a little rise and lower on count 3 and 4. And I want you to feel that go right through the crown of your head. So when you rise, everything goes tall and then come back down. So repeat, it goes bend, abdominals activate on count 2, stay in the plie, stretch on 3, feel those glutes working, and then rise and lower. One more time before we try the music. So it's a bend, it's the abdominals lifting the front of the pelvis, glutes hold the pelvis in that position. You'll feel like you've trapped your tailbone between your thigh bones, rise and lower. First 2 times we'll take a basic port de bras, second 2 times we'll take a full port de bras. From there we'll do 16 rises on 2 feet, trying to keep all of that held and in position before you turn around and try the other side. Again, I'm staying facing this way, but you guys turn around. Here we go, let's try it. So feet parallel, weight in the right place, front of the pelvis long already, prepare the arm. Bend, abdominals activate, stretch, rise and lower. Again with the same arm. Take the arms fifth, bend, and lift the front of the pelvis, stretch, glutes active, rise and lower, last one, 1, 2, 3, 16 rises, go, rise, and rise, and rise, and rise. Halfway there, if you want, you can go on one leg. Bend, abdominals active, stretch, glutes working, rise and lower. Again, bend, abdominals, stretch, rise and lower. With the arm going through fifth, stay down on count 2. And again, so count 2, it's just for the abdominals to pull in. 16 rises, go. As you do this, check those abdominals are still working, check your glutes are still active, check your weight is forwards in the toes and the heels are actively pressing the floor. One leg if you wish, 1. And relax, good stuff, well done. Maybe take a quick calf stretch because they're going to be a bit sore after those one leg rises. Same on the other leg as well, so you're pressing the heel into the floor and making sure that back knee is straight. Good stuff. After that, you should feel quite sore in the abdominals. If you don't feel like you've done, say 100 sit-ups in here, you need to go back and do that again. Really pull in those abdominals as much as you can on count 2. Feel like you're pulling your belly button into your spine and then up through your ribcage into the roof of your mouth on that second count, and then hold it there. Okay, so we've found the weight forwards in the toes, we've activated the abdominals to place the hips in the right position. Now it's time to look at turnout. We're going to do an exercise that I call triangles, and it's all about looking at this triangle shaped space that you get between your legs when you're stood in second and to some extent in first position as well. Okay, so really simple. Imagine that triangle of space is made out of like balloon or something you can squish, maybe sponge. And all you're going to do is take 2 counts, stood in your second position, make sure all of those muscles you found in the last 2 exercises are still working. And all you're going to do is squeeze that triangle of space as hard as you can, particularly towards the top of the triangle. That's where you're squeezing the hardest, so right up between those legs, okay? We squeeze and we stay. We draw the feet into first and a half position, so sort of a slightly small second, and again squeeze even harder. Draw the legs finally into first position, and this doesn't have to be an RAD first. You can have that little bit of space between the heels, that's okay, as long as those hamstrings are still active from that active heels exercise we did first of all. So we squeeze here, there's a little rise, you'll feel the triangle open up as you rise and lower down. What you've got to do is you rise and it opens, resist that. Rise, try and squeeze as hard as you can, so you're not letting it all go, but you're squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Lower down, squeeze even harder, so it's your best first position ever, and then relax back out to second, and we repeat the whole process again. So we go squeeze and stay, and squeeze and stay, and squeeze and stay, rise up, squeeze, hold, lower down, back out. And we can repeat that again, this time drawing the left leg in, but your weight should be really evenly distributed all the way through anyway, so it shouldn't feel much different on the second side. Let's try it with some music. Here we go, legs in second. Make sure everything's lifted, make sure your weight is in the toes. We go, squeeze, hold, squeeze, hold, squeeze, hold, rise up, lower down, back out. Let's do it again with the right leg. Squeeze, hold, stay, squeeze, hold, stay, squeeze, 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 rise, lower. Now with the left, so we start in second, squeeze it, draw the left leg in, squeeze it more, draw the left leg in more, squeeze it, little rise, lower down. Last time, we go, squeeze, hold, stay, squeeze, hold, stay, squeeze, hold, stay, rise up and down. Good stuff. Okay. Instead of second position, let's try a second. You've still got that triangle of space. Just squeeze and hold that for 8 counts. Hold it, stay. 1, 2, 3. See if you can grow taller now. 5, 6. Plie transfer. Second side. Squeeze that triangle of space at the top of the legs. Squeezing the tip of the pyramid. See if you can grow taller, especially on your standing leg. Grow taller out to that hip. 4 more counts. 4, 3, 2. We're going to plie transfer and finish off. Close it in and relax. Collapse. Okay, we're on to exercise 4, rebound plies. So this is putting together the 3 pieces we've learnt already. Active heels, abdominals and pelvic placement, and then finally also squeezing that triangle of space using the inner thighs to help your turnout. It's using that and it's putting it with movement, starting to move more and more. We're going to use a nice bouncy free plie that kind of shoots you up to the top so you feel nice and tall. Okay, we're going to start off in parallel. I'm using a bar, but if you want to do this as a center practice type exercise, make it a little bit trickier, you can do. Really simple. All you're basically doing is just bend and stretch and hold, 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 hold. Bend and stretch again, hold, hold, hold. We do a whole bunch in parallel. We do a whole bunch in first position as well. Allow yourself that heel gap for this. If you're pressing those heels together, there's a chance that your pelvis is going to start to sneak back. So let yourself have that little bit of gap just to make it feel easier to hold everything in place for now. Okay, so we're in parallel. As you approach the bottom of your bend, your heels start to want to lift. I'm sure you've all been told before at some point whilst doing sautés, keep your heels down. As you bend deeper and deeper, those heels want to peel off. So get to the point where they're about to peel off the floor, and instead of continuing to go and letting them peel, like a full plie, what you're going to do instead is shoot those heels down so that you pop up nice and tall. You want those legs working as hard as they can straight away. Feel length in the front of the hips. Tighten the top of the legs at the back there to keep your pelvis in position for the abdominals lifting. Feel really, really tall. Legs working hard. Upper body relaxed and just kind of hovering undisturbed above all of that movement. So we go. and 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, and 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, hold 1, hold 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, turn out. Same thing in first position, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So now additionally you'll think about that triangle of space every time you get to that top of that plie. You should feel like you're preparing yourself to do the world's biggest jumps ever. Let's have a little go. Feet in parallel with the music. Ready? So weight is forward, pelvis lifted. We go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Last one. And we're going to turn out. Here's the first. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. If you're using a bar, turn around, try the other side. Let's go again. In parallel. 2, 3. 1, 2. Shoot up as quick as you can. Bounce off the bottom of that plie. Feel tall. Last one. Bounce. Feel tall. Turn out in first. 1. Last 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Last one, promise. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Relax. Well done. So after all of that, your glutes should be feeling quite sore. The abdominals should be really activated, and you should feel lifted and light in your feet. Okay, so hopefully by now your first position you feel nice and tall and lifted out of that first position. You feel lots of muscles really active through the legs and into the lower abdominals. We're going to start to look at fifth position now. When we start using fifth position and then third position as well to an extent, what we find is that all that good work we've done in first suddenly disappears. The weight sits back into the back leg and we end up kind of, I'm exaggerating, but kind of like this. That front knee just doesn't quite want to squeeze closed, and it's because the weight is sitting back in that back leg. If you find your fifth position now, and just do a little plie and a stretch. When you stretch, do you feel both knees stretch at the same time? Do you feel them stretch the same amount? Or is your back leg doing more? Is your front leg kind of pushing back as opposed to pulling up? This next exercise looks at that. So nice and simple. We start in first position. Good time just to quickly recap everything. Feel active heels, feel abdominals and glutes, squeeze the triangle of space, find that rebound plie so you're really, really lifted. We've got 3 little rises. These aren't proper rises up, it's just a little up out of the heels as though you're being given an electric shock in the back of your legs that just makes you pop up for a moment. So we do 3 of those. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3, and 4. The third one, you land in fifth position. Try to feel yourself land on both legs at the same time and keep an eye on that front knee. Is it behaving or is it popping out? Okay, we repeat the whole process again. So rise and land back in first position. Feel how evenly placed your weight is in this, and then land in the other fifth. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a land weight forwards, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a land weight forwards. Let's give that a try with music. So nice and tall, we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zip up, 1, 2, 3. Feel that little electric shock in the back of the legs. This one lands in fifth, land fifth, and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a 1, 2, 3. Check those abdominals are still active. Now we land in fifth, land. Let's do that again. We go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zip up, land. 2, 4. Zip up, land. 2, 4. Land in fifth. Do it all again. Left leg. 1, and a 2, and a 3. Land in fifth. Let's go twice as fast. We go. 1, 2, 3. Land fifth. 1, 2, 3. Land fifth again. 1. And hold. Check your weight. You should be right in the middle of those legs now. Both knees working equally. And hopefully really good turnout as well.